Welcome to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and medium Kelly White. Two perspectives, one world. This is Both Sides Now.
All right,
Well,
Dr. Shirley.
hello, everybody. Welcome to Both Sides Now. I'm Dr. Shirley.
And I'm spiritual medium, Kelly White. Hi, Cheryl.
Yes. Where did Kelly go?
I'm right here.
There
Can you
you
see
are.
me? I'm right here, Cheryl.
Right there. It looks like we both got the memo because we're both in orange.
Yay, getting ready for our Halloween show next week. Orange.
John, there's a little bit of a delay.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep it going. So, folks, we're going to
Yeah,
be
we dressed in orange pre-Halloween.
That's right. Well, how about we've got such an amazing guest tonight. Why don't I start with a little astrology to see what's going on right now? Does that work for you?
Sure does.
Okay. So I'm going to start with this. The sun is going into Scorpio on October 23rd.
Please let us know what's going on, and then we will announce our wonderful guest today.
Perfect. The sun is going into Scorpio on October 23rd, and Scorpio is all about the shadow, about everybody, and everybody has a shadow side. So, and the Scorpio is also about death and transformation. And right now, we're going to be in a phase for the next month, really, about reflection. It's kind of an intense self-analysis. Interesting that we have a special guest that does face analysis, but this is about an intense self-analysis and letting go. And I've been saying this all month, letting go of what we don't need anymore. And you can actually start with physically going around your room and seeing things that you don't need and getting rid of things. It's time to let go. And then it's time to go within, because now this month is about exploring where change is required for you. You're going to confront fears, confront your deeper motivations, psychological issues come up for people, and maybe some painful truths. But the more light that you shine on your shadow side for this month, the greater your capacity for intimate and honest relationships. And it's really the greatest gift of Scorpio is during this time. And as we go next week, we're going to talk about Mercury going retrograde. So it's a very interesting time. The last thing I want to say is that on October 27th, Mars squares Saturn. And that's two planets that are pretty intense squaring off. Avoid confrontation like the plague, Cheryl. October 27th. Remember that date. Okay. And then we have a new moon in Scorpio opposite Uranus, which brings sudden and unexpected changes. So it's going to be a really interesting couple of weeks that we've got, and a very interesting month full of a lot of transformation. All right, Shirley, let's introduce our guest. All right. Shirley?
I think Shirley is on a
that
delay.
sounds interesting. We'll get more into it next week during our Halloween show, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're on a little bit of a delay, but let me announce Dr. Todd Frisch, who is our wonderful guest today. Kelly and I saw him in a talk, and we just absolutely had to have him on our show. He was a chiropractor for 37 years, specializing in nutrition, homeopathy, kinesiology, acupuncture, iridology, traditional Chinese medicine, and facial diagnosis. He's also the founder and developer of Shaper Reclaimed. Retired and happy, Dr. Todd spends his time with his wife, Linda, who's adorable, teaching doctors, writing books with his daughter, who's also adorable. We got to meet Abby, and doing crossword puzzles, watching Packer games, and sitting by his lake in northern Wisconsin. He also wanted me to mention that one time he made 54 points in a basketball game. Now, I don't know how old he was at the time, but let's just pretend it happened, I don't know, last week, just to make him feel good. So welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you, Dr. Todd.
Yay. And I might add a fellow Wisconsinite, too. He's in northern Wisconsin.
Great.
I'm in southern Wisconsin. Go figure. We met in L.A.
You can meet in the middle.
And there's no H's in Wisconsin. We're either up north or down south. And so you can't use
do
H.
and I bought the book the day. So you can't. What was that?
We're on a delay, I think. So I'm not picking up what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Mm. Okay. Um, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we just start with telling us how you got to analyze the face? This is the book that both Kelly and I bought the day that we heard your lecture. We were so excited. And how did that all start? Because it's fascinating, fascinating stuff.
Well, I think the most important thing is we all do facial diagnosis. Our book just puts some legs to what we're already doing. So 40 years ago, when I started in practice, I was definitely labeled a quack. And, it hurt a little bit to hear that, but I also was helping lots of people. So I just went with it. And finally, they quit calling me a quack, but they called it alternative medicine. So that says choose this or this. And that kind of went away, and that turned into what's called complementary medicine. Now we can complement the real doctors of the world. And that evolved into what's called CAM, which is complementary and alternative medicine. And then we spent a little time with what's called integrative medicine. And now they're calling it functional medicine. And I don't like that term. I think it sounds like math. I like the term restorative medicine. So I like to restore people back to a place they should have never left in the first place. So the important thing is, I had a paradigm shift in my career. I had a patient who was, by medical standards, in perfect health. Matter of fact, he brought his blood work in on a Tuesday, and I looked it over and said, his name was Jack, and I said, Jack, your blood test is outstanding. There's normal range and there are then optimal ranges. So that was a Tuesday. He was dead before he hit the ground on Thursday. Died of a massive coronary with a perfect blood test. So I realized I needed to change my way of looking at things. And I began to ask what's wrong instead of asking what's not. Medicine asked what's wrong, and I would ask what's not right. And that took me exactly down this road. I got board certified in acupuncture, and this came from traditional Chinese medicine, the facial diagnosis. Absolutely love it.
Wow.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for or what you can diagnose from the face? I mean, I guess other than, I would say everything, but tell us a little, share with us a little bit what you notice in the face.
Sure. We wrote the book. There are many books on facial diagnosis. Matter of fact, I have 74 of them. The great majority of them are about more of a psychological interpretation of what's going on, and it's very valuable. But I wanted to go more physiology. So when you see a deep crease between the eyebrow, a liver line. Now, if the patient has headaches, if they have muscle cramps, if they don't digest fats real well, we know we've got to support their liver in helping them to heal. So mark everything. Everything that happens in your life is going to be marked on the face. So we all use facial diagnosis. When your child comes down in the morning and you say, "Don't you feel good this morning? What did you see that morning before?" You said, we're just putting legs to it. And medicine teaches you to name and blame. So if you get diagnosed with diabetes, then everything after that is going to be tied to that. And Mark Hyman used this term, and blame is fine, but you want to think. So I really love the think and link mentality that diagnosis just is the natural avenue where we can link.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us about the different types of
that is so
faces.
interesting
Yeah.
because yeah.
Tell us, Dr. Todd, about some of the different faces. Let's
put the face. If we can go to our slides. John, are you there? That's me. Get the book or want to talk to me, I got my cell phone there, so you're welcome to call me. Shape is a company my wife became menopausal, gained some weight, lost her mind, and like diets, and my wife.
I've been there.
So I developed yeah, really. I developed a look at this thing in a little different way. do it as a weight loss program. It's more of a health restoration program. And the book was a natural offshoot of that, and helping our shape practitioners know how to look at their patients and how to talk to them. Because if we can just go to the next slide, please, John. This is a map. And as you can see right between the eyes, you see the word liver. Portion of the liver is anger. So if everybody could and make an angry face, you'll see a crease between, and that is how the Chinese understood that this was all about the liver. So again, the majority of our book talks a lot about physio. Name a disease. I got a problem, but I can't say it's hepatitis B or anything like that, or hep C. We can just say we've got a weakness in this area, and then we try based on what we see. So the next slide is kind of interesting, a different aspect of it. Next slide, John. So what we project to the public right side, and matter of fact, we don't even see the left side. It's our outer public appearance. There's energy. The left side is our true private. It's our, and just next slide, please, John. So this, hang on. Yeah, there you go. This shows up in my, and I look at this, Michael Phelps, and I said to my staff, he has a toxic relationship with his father, and was constantly wondering where. They said, "How do you know that?" I said, "I don't know. I just do." And so at lunch, Cindy, one of my staff, came back and said he absolutely had a toxic relationship. So let's go to the next slide. When you see Michael Phelps, his right side is public appearance, very healthy look. Now let's go to what he really is. Slide.
Oh, wow.
Do you see that?
Wow.
Do you see the puffiness underneath? That's unshed.
Yeah.
When you see something only on one side, there's a gender specificity to it. So that's unshed tears has to do with a male, and I assumed it was his father, and he had an absolutely toxic relationship. The next slide is kind of interesting. Next slide, please, John. So this is from Kiss, and so let's see what he looks like in real life. Next slide. So it looks like a rock star, absolutely. So let's see what he shows to the real world. Now,
It's nice, friendly.
next slide. There we go. Yeah, very friendly, very open. Now, would you want your daughter to date this? Just if you
No way.
see the difference.
When you look at it,
You just look at his mouth. So if you could go back a slide, see the difference in his mouth. It's absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
Now I think he's two different people.
Completely. Now, is the eye on the left, is it showing anger and fear? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Absolutely. Mostly anger. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So
that is fascinating.
Let's go to the next slide. It really is. And we just see it, can't miss it. So there's 9 face shapes. Now, most people are a combination. Shirley is a king face. We'll get to that, and you want to pay attention. Actually, we at the talk I gave in LA. So
yes,
Kelly, you're mostly a bucket face.
Oh.
Yeah. So Kelly's mostly a bucket face. So we bucket face. So let's see what a bucket face. Just look at the shape. Next slide. So as you can see, the top of the head is wider, and you look like a pail or a bucket. So bucket faces like to put things in their bucket. They like to know things. There's not a book that they're not interested in. We love knowledge. We love collecting knowledge. We love collecting everything. So that's your bucket face, and they like a pat on the back. We just love a pat on the back. I'm a classic bucket face. Yeah,
as evidenced by all the books behind Kelly that we can see on her shelf.
I love
Yeah.
books. I'm a book fanatic. Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's a bucket face. You have to have your books. So we go from the bucket face to the next face. We'll go through these quite quickly. An earth face. Now they're like an upside down bucket. They're very down to earth. They like they'll joke about everything. These two are comedians, ironically, which is not an uncommon
Yeah.
thing. Very down to earth. They like dirty jokes. They're very earthy, and they don't really take care of themselves. From a health standpoint, they're not real active in their own health, which is sad. They have very strong constitutions. If you look at the eyebrows of both of them, they're very thick eyebrows. That's a sign of a very strong constitution. So they inherited really strong. Most earth faces have, so they don't have an early warning mechanism says they're screwing up. So the next face, please.
Interesting.
This is a fire face. They're all about sensitivity, and they're like a triangle, and they're very bright. Fire spreads very quickly, so they're quick to learn, but they're too sensitive. They're oversensitive. They tend to have a lot of allergies. They tend to have a lot of sensitivities, and you have to speak to them with words that don't offend them. It's very important that you speak words they will trust what you have to say. As a physician, I would dance the music that's playing in the patient's face. So if they're fire, I'm going to use words that are about sensitivity. And I know you're very sensitive, those kind of things. So that's our fire face. Let's go through these again, kind of quickly. Face, they're square. They're sturdy. Give them a job, they get it done. Perseveres. Many politicians, Trump, Hillary. It's not uncommon for people in politics to have an iron face. Very dedicated, but incredibly. Give them a job, they'll get it done, and things that they're interested in. If they're not interested, they don't want anything to do with it. So again, if they're latch on to something, let's go to our next face.
Wow.
Getting to our 9 here. Jade faces, they have a wider, it's a little wider. Their forehead and their chin is narrower than the middle of their face. Just as jade is hard, they tend to be very hard, almost aloof. And it's important not to take anything they say personally, because they're not necessarily mean spirited, just hard, and they want the facts. Give me the detail. I'm not interested in details. They just want all the important to them. Can come across as very aloof, interesting face.
Cheryl.
So this is Dr. Shirley. It's the strong jaw. Jaw is about determination, and king faces make good kings. They see both sides of an issue, but they get a little pissy if they don't get their own way. They really have their own way. They're natural come to them for help, because they're just assume that they know more because of that strong jaw. Don't they come to?
Interesting.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Next
Yeah.
face, please. So the moon face, obviously, this is about round. You have to be careful here. A lot of people that take prednisone long term will get this, and steroids will give you that
Oh.
moon face. They tend
Yeah.
to have little interest in their health. They're quite interesting folks. You have to get to their why. It's very important to help them understand the why in health. Oftentimes it has to do with children or grandchildren, and you have to say, if you want to see your kids, you have to take a little better care of your health. So they just their health. Next face. Tree face. This is Michael Phelps. He was a tree face, and they look like a rectangle, as opposed to the iron face, which is more square. These faces like to grow on their own. They tend to be deeply rooted spiritually. They can take the winds of life, but they do not like to be triple. They like to absolutely grow on their own. Excellent parents. They love to spread their branches, and tree faces with them was they're so into taking care of others, they don't take care of them. So I don't see it
Mm.
as much in males, but in females, that soccer mom kind of mentality.
Mhm.
Next face,
Mhm.
the wall face.
Mm.
These folks again have little care about their head against the wall, figuratively. The fella on the left
Mm.
is a player, and guess what position he was? He played offensive lineman. His name is Josh Sitton. Hattie McDaniel won the first black to win an Oscar for Gone with the Wind. And again, they're very, very, but they do not follow through at all. They are so strong that they don't care about much other than Alex the Wall trying to get them to make changes.
Hmm. Wow.
So, if you have any questions, Kelly or Dr. Shirley, any thoughts on that before we get into these?
It's now, are these kind of names that you created, or is that something that I guess is universal?
No, I
I mean, that you.
in the book, yeah, in the book we cite all the names that are available, but I started using these names and I just cannot release them. There are other names that are out there, and we give you all those names because there are many books that talk about these different faces, but there's 9 total. Some books will have 5, some will have 7. 9 seems to be covers the bases that I wanted to cover.
And when
Mhm.
somebody comes
Okay.
to see you, Dr.
Now B
Todd.
has.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Shirley.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I
Well,
was just
I was
wondering
just
when
going to say, B is asking. She's saying,
Yeah, I'm seeing the
"Go,
quote
Cal."
here. It's my understanding the right side of the yeah. So the right side of the brain does control the left side of the body, and there's lots of debate on this, but really, we have found that the right side is the female. It's what is projected. It's the mothering instinct, and the way we remember this is mom's always right. That's how you know the right side is female. There is debate when you have this decussation in the brain. The left side controls the right side. You have a stroke on the left, your right side will be paralyzed. That type of thing. So both are accurate. It's just depending on what door you're coming through. You can build a case for both ways of thinking.
Dr. Todd, when you first see a client, is the first thing that you look at is the shape of their face?
Yeah, absolutely. Because then I'll know how to talk to them. And the idea with patients is
Mm.
you want to you want to win them over. If you're real dogmatic and very forceful, you'll affect some people, but you won't get the majority of them. And you have to really get down where they are and help them understand. I teach something that I call the faith circuit. So as a physician, the way this works is you have to have faith in what you do. And the only way you get and maintain that faith is you continue to learn. Now that is a bucket face comment, obviously, but when a patient then comes to me or comes to someone that is of this thinking, they will somehow pick up that energy and they'll have faith in you. And then you got to be pretty much an idiot to screw this patient up. They will get well if you just guide them properly. But understanding the patient is very important. And there's another aspect of this. People, in my philosophy, we all start healthy, we all live a nice long life, and then we all end up dead. Now, uh, nobody's going to get out of that, out of this world alive, at least not that I'm aware of. But I call this process from health to death dis-ease. And it comes in 3 steps. The first thing that happens is we go out of balance. This is where things like um, astrology is going to be very beneficial to help you understand on an energetic level what's going on. From this first phase that I call the chi phase, which means life force, life energy, we move into what's called a water phase, and this is where we have symptoms and nobody can figure out what's going on. The last phase is where medicine shines. Back to my friend Jack. He was perfectly normal, except he ended up dead 2 days after having a perfect blood test. So basically, you have to be 2/3 sick before medicine can see it. I'm not slamming medicine here. I love medicine. I'm trained in it. I'm passionate about it, but it has weaknesses. Again, looking at what's wrong is fine, but if the parameters, if you got to be 2/3 sick before you can see anything wrong, we have a problem with that. That's why I began looking at my patient, asking what's not right. And anything you do, whether you're studying Galen's four humors, whether you're studying Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, five element, whether you're doing astrology, doesn't matter if you do tarot, I Ching, whatever it is, if you can tap in energetically to that patient, then you can help them more effectively and efficiently, and usually cheaper. The cheapest thing is not getting sick. Once you're sick, it gets costly.
Yeah. That's so
That's
true.
very
Shirley
true.
and I always say that there's so many ways in, and we found your way in to the patient to be so fascinating. It was new for me.
Yeah, if we want to go
Yeah,
back to that soldier,
Yeah.
the three pictures are the same. So this is a Scottish soldier that is 6 months apart. This is before he left for Afghanistan, while he's in Afghanistan, and when he came home. Eyes are about receptivity. Look how narrow his eyes got. And then at the last picture, you can't really see it well here, but his pupils are huge. He's in a state of what's called sympathetic dominance. He has been under so much stress that he is wired, and he will abuse drugs. He has something called lower sympaku. We'll come to that later here. We can see white underneath three sides of his eyes in that last picture. This is someone that will use drugs, will use alcohol, and he's got PTSD. It's absolutely devastating. His pupils are normal size, and then they're huge. That's a nervous system that is involved in fight or flight. Is absolutely exhausted. It's one of the saddest pictures I've ever seen. The photographer that has a series of about 40 soldiers, and it's just absolutely devastating to see the changes. And this is 6 months apart.
Yeah,
Next slide.
that
We'll
is
just kind of shoot through
unbelievable.
these,
You
and
know, in
I'll
the
point things
somatic
out.
work.
So go ahead.
Well, I was
So
just in the
this is
somatic
Abraham
work
Lincoln.
that I
Obviously,
do. He's stuck in fight or flight.
yeah, absolutely. Sympathetic dominance is what we call it in neurophysiology. So this is Abraham Lincoln. Now the picture on the right is him just prior to being assassinated, 1864, and obviously he's a young man. Well, he's not. This is 5 years apart, and this is what stress can do to the body. And just look at the changes, the wrinkles in his face. It's just absolutely remarkable. And let's go to the next slide just to move forward here. So this is Harvey. Big thing here, look at his forehead. There's a dip in his forehead. So he has a prolapse of his transverse colon. He'll have a very large abdomen, and he's basically pooping uphill. He's very constipated. And compare his left eye to his right eye. This is a sinister man. It's anybody that look at him with knowledge that we're going to see things that now he's very powerful, he's very famous, very wealthy, and very corrupt. But the thing I want to point out here is just that line on his forehead. He's got a prolapse of his transverse colon. The emotion of the colon is despair, grief, sadness, sorrow. And he tried to help himself sexually with that. Pretty sick. See the puffiness underneath his eye?
Wow.
That's kidney
Yeah.
deficiency. So he would have to have an orgasm to enliven his body because his kidneys were so weak and they're so puffy underneath. Every face tells a story. Let's go to the next face.
Wow.
If you'll notice my forehead and this man's forehead, and I have to read this from. So when you have a receding hairline, this is what it's your drive and ambition, potential for financial success, virile, open-minded, quick brain, intelligent, to make my forehead make me feel better about my forehead. That's so kind of guy I like to have as a grand. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. We'll just talk a little bit as we go here. So What? So,
Mm.
Shirley, Kelly, what do you see here? What grabs you? What sticks out more
The
than anything
Okay.
eyebrows.
else?
The eyebrows.
Yeah,
For me,
a
it's the
very
line in
strong
the middle of his
constitution with a big.
forehead.
Ab- Absolutely. So that's a liver line that indicates he's
Hmm.
got muscle problems, he's got headaches. He's also got a hook-shaped line on his chin. That's a prostate
Hmm.
indicator. He
Mm.
was an overnight success. Magnum PI. Well, he really wasn't. He struggled for years, and he had to put a lot of energy into his liver. And liver's about starting and growth. It's the color green is part of the liver, so he had to grow a lot, and his liver took a pretty strong hit. So that's what shows up with that. Let's look at our next slide and do some diagnosing. So what I'm pointing out here is notice the from this fella's nose, and they crease and they go
Mm. Right
past
here.
that. This is good. Yes.
Yeah.
And so all of us, all three of us here have this. Kelly, you have it. Shirley, you have it. And I have it. Mine are as deep as you'll see in a human being, these deep creases that come here. These are called Fa-Ling lines, Faling. They indicate purpose. So the three of us, we've found our purpose. We're living our purpose. It indicates deep spiritual strength. But when
Okay.
past the edges of the mouth, then they're too much stress. There's an adrenal insufficiency that occurs with this.
Oh.
So let's look at the next slide because this is rather interesting. So
Wow.
sometimes the diagnosis is what isn't there. He has no falling lines. Do you want someone with no purpose and no
Right.
spiritual strength running your country? I don't think so.
Oh my
Now
goodness.
notice
Wow.
the man is of no purpose, and you cannot Botox those away. There'll always be some remnant. This guy never had purpose. He's an iron face. He's a deal maker. His forehead is slanted back. But look at his lips. There's not a straight line between his upper and lower lip. It's a wavy line. So that comes from not
Mhm.
speaking the truth. And the
Wow.
man cannot tell the
Wow.
truth. He is an absolute consummate liar.
Wow.
He's an iron face.
Wow.
He's ruthless.
And what I noticed is there's no soul behind the eyes. So that in my line of work is that kind of, we
No,
call it the reptilian gaze of a
he'd shake your
sociopath.
hand and kill you. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. He'd shake your hand and then kill you, and not care
Yeah.
one way about shaking your hand or killing you. He has
Mhm.
no concerns. Let's check our next
Mhm.
film. Could be a girl. Next slide, please, John. What jumps out here are those sunken cheeks. He is when you see that, he's lacking something. He's lacking
Yeah.
oxygen, basically. Certainly was a smoker, but the emotion of the lung and large intestine, and we talk about this in our book, the metal element. The emotion of this is despair, and he looks. There's a difference between
Yeah.
despair and depression. Depression is I'm depressed. This is the reason why. There's a hopelessness with despair, and just again cover his left and right eye. You'll see the despair that shows up. But
Hmm.
he's a straight. Notice his lips are straight across, so he speaks the truth.
And who is he?
Next slide. Iggy Pop, I think, is his name. He's
Oh, a musician. Okay.
some
Yeah.
musician.
Mm.
This is an interesting fella. Um, this is what's known as lower sempaku. That means white three sides. That
Mhm.
you can see white on three sides of his eyes. This is about fanatics. People tend to. This is the soldier. That third picture where his pupils were large. He had this. He had the lower sempaku. They tend to be fanatical. They tend to be into drugs and alcohol stimulants. This is Omar Mateen. He's the fellow that killed the 60 gay people in
Mm.
Florida.
Oh.
And he just
Oh.
fanatical. You want to stay away from these people. Don't put them in charge of anything in your job. They
Wow.
also tend to,
Wow.
you'll see this a lot in people with low blood sugar. They have a lot of hypoglycemia tendencies.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it just the fanaticism of what you'll tend to see.
So
Next slide.
when someone comes to you and you um and you analyze their face, then is that's what you do. You point them towards what to go check on, like to go have extra checks on their
Yeah,
liver, or you put them on a liver supplement as an example
sure.
to help strengthen it.
Yeah, whatever it is, again, we're looking at not right. Big
Mhm.
could be wrong, but we're right. There are a plethora of things that the face will tell you to do, and it'll guide me. Now, I will certainly look at blood tests, and I'll try to confirm it. X-rays, MRI, CTs are going to be very important. And again, the face, there's a cardinal rule: more is more. So if you see a lot of more diagnostic, and, and
Mm.
so with he's very fanatical, and basically was a religious, and but fanaticism is unhealthy, whether it's religious.
Yeah.
I've had patients, food fanatics, they everything coming at them. Oh, is this yin or is this yang? Is this going to cause this reaction? Am I that's not a healthy thing. I try to get my patients um, to be healthy and have the symptomatology that doesn't, if you're a female, you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, you got chronic fatigue, PMS, and medicine, they'll tap you on the shoulder, call you honey, and put you on Prozac, which causes you to gain weight because every weight gain, which is, I'm not against antidepressants, um, but how about looking at what's not right? Are they hypoglycemic? Is their nervous system in a state of sympathetic dominance? Are they in a constant state of fight or flight? All those things can be addressed. If someone is in a state of sympathetic dominance, magnesium will downregulate the sympathetic nervous system, so it calms down the thing that speeds you up. Potassium will upregulate your parasympathetics, so it'll speed up the thing that calms you down. So it's a
Mm.
very simple fix for those large pupils. And that soldier, I would have put him on magnesium and potassium to balance out his nervous system.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Next
That's
slide, we'll cover a
fascinating.
few more here and go to some questions if we can. So this is my wife, and if you'll notice these real interesting line under her chin, that hook-shaped
Hmm.
line between her lower lip and her chin,
Yeah.
that's in a female, that is a problem with uterine and ovarian function. My wife has had how many surgeries on? Four major surgeries.
Wow.
She was sexually abused as a young girl by a
Mm.
half brother, and she's had
Oh,
female problems all her life, culminating in four surgeries.
Wow.
wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in the left eye and the right eye. So she's not
Yeah.
very, very trusting, not very trusting. So
Hmm.
she doesn't
Yeah.
trust men. Thankfully,
Yeah.
I was allowed into her life.
Well,
Next slide.
seems like she picked a very trustworthy one.
Yeah, so this is an interesting. This gal, she's got the real deep crease. Now, if you notice the crease between her eyes, it's longer and it swings to the left side. So when this patient came in, this is someone who inherited a liver weakness from an alcoholic father, and in fact was that.
Mm.
Wow.
She's also got real puffy eyelids, and the puffy
Mhm.
eyelids indicate her gallbladder is very full. She actually lost her gallbladder. She's got very deep lines that come from her nose to her mouth. But if you look at
Mhm.
all those lines that go into the upper lip, when lines on the upper lip go into the top of the lip, it's not letting go of past hurts. She was
Oh.
abused by her father. It was,
Uh,
and she internalized. Women tend to internalize anger, men tend to externalize.
Mhm.
Gallbladder surgeries, for every male that has a gallbladder removed, there are 8 females. So women internalize it.
Wow.
It's got to go somewhere, so they lose their.
wow.
So it's a
Wow.
wonderful diagnostic case. There's so much there that it'll tell us.
Yeah, very much so. My goodness. Mm.
So notice the tufts of are in the corner lateral and to the eye.
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
tested weakness. There's a colon problem when
Wow.
you see those tufts of skin.
Mm.
Very much emotional issue. Again, the emotion of the large intestine. I won't go into her history, but just a horrific situation that occurred. But she had lots of problems with bowel function, and it shows on her face. Very, very,
Wow.
very
Wow.
dramatic.
Yeah. Hmm.
So this Hugh Griffin. So my daughter, when she saw him in a movie, she noticed that his tip of the nose is heart, and the eyebrows are just fantastic eyebrows. So he had very, very strong. Daughter Abby said, "I'll bet he died of a heart attack," and sure enough, he cardiac
Wow.
arrest. So
Wow.
it's about that. Let's look at one last slide of
That is
Tommy Lee Jones.
fascinating. Hmm.
Lee Jones is an iron face. So
Mhm.
you're not going to see an iron face in a romantic comedy. He's a soldier. He's a cop. Look at that deep liver crease. Look at those
Yeah.
lines, large ears. That nose is about power, drive, and ego. He's a very strong man, a large intellect. This is someone you want as your captain in the military. This guy should be a cop. He's not going to be in a romantic comedy. It's just
Yeah.
Now,
Hollywood pick their stars based on their face for a particular. They use facial
that's true.
diagnosis. They just don't know they're doing it. So that's my
Yeah.
last slide. I'll just let
Now
you.
he has a thick, pretty prominent line in the middle of the forehead, similar to what you pointed out in Harvey Weinstein. Is it similar on his face, given everything else on his face, or not at all?
It's not dipped in the middle. When it's dipped in the middle, it's more diagnostic. We will develop lines they're supposed to have, but when they dip, that is prolapsed. And what happens for us males and females too, for that matter, is the colon has to fall on something, and it falls on the bladder. So you got to pee a lot. You get up at night to urinate. You have to go to the
Mhm.
bathroom a lot because the colon
Mhm.
is it's weak and it's prolapsed. It's sinking into the lower cavity. So what you want to do is eat a diet that is very rich foods. You want more fiber in your diet. You want
Mhm.
more colon cleansing, and it's obviously there's
Mhm.
things you can do. You can see a line on my forehead, and you're supposed to have 3 lines that go across the forehead. That's a sign
Mhm.
of you've been on this earth and you've learned lots. I got a very
Yeah.
large forehead,
Yeah.
so more is more. So I love to learn. I love my brain.
Yeah.
Drives my
And
wife
so I know
crazy.
this question I know this question was asked at the seminar, but so what about with people, and of course I'm not asking about me, but what about with people with who use Botox and fillers and
I
all
lost
that
you.
stuff? Not that I have, of course I have. So is it just you just can't diagnose it as accurately as you would like to?
I, I lost part of it. Are you asking if they had some kind of surgery or facial
If people
facelift?
Yeah, if people have, right, a facelift or Botox or fillers, especially, here and so on,
Mhm.
does it just kind of mess up your ability to be as accurate as you could otherwise?
You know, Doc, it goes deeper than that. Yes, it does take away diagnostic abilities, but
Mm.
you can actually take away more than you can imagine. And the example I'll use is Michael Jackson. He had a beautiful nose about power, drive, and ego. Look at his nose before he died. He chopped it off, literally, to spite his
Yeah.
face, which is an interesting statement. But he really
Yeah.
lost all of his power, all of his drive, and his ego was obviously, it's a sad thing. So the more of that you do, you got to start asking yourself questions. Is this a really intelligent thing to do? Aging is part of our life experience. I don't like the term anti-aging medicine. That says to me, I fear death. I love the aging process. I don't like what my body is doing necessarily,
Right.
but I love what's happening to my brain. I love what I've learned and allowed me to gather data that I can now impart into other people, younger doctors, that I can
Yeah.
help them be better at what they do.
Yeah.
So embrace aging. It's a wonderful thing.
Okay, well, let's take some calls. John, do we have anyone
You
waiting?
got it. Yeah, let's move to area code 760-580. I believe Gina's on the line. Hi, Gina.
Hello, loving to hear about the different face shapes just based on my picture. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
We hear
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Based on I was thinking I might have a fire face shape.
So you have a narrower chin, correct?
Is this Gina
Your chin
Marie?
comes
Is that who's holding?
Yes.
Okay,
Gina
let me
Marie.
see if I
I'm
can
on
put
the
up your
Facebook
picture.
page.
Can you see the picture?
Can you make it a little bit bigger?
See, yeah, she would have to come in on video to actually be able to
No,
see
that's
her.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll call from here. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're a combination of three faces, Gina. You have a lot of iron quality, so you have a lot of strength, a lot of determination. Give you a job, you get it done. Persevere. That's great. That's much better. So then you have that's the squareness, and then the jaw. You have a little king quality, leadership abilities. But then you have this narrowness to your chin, which is your fire energy. So basically, you're a strong, sensitive leader. What a wonderful face! It's just, we say it all the time. I love faces. Yeah. So the question here, talking about prolapse colon, does it affect the prostate too? Yes, absolutely. It will affect the prostate. Anything that the colon can fall upon, which is bladder for the female uterus and for the male prostate, can be influenced by that.
Yeah, he's having a complete blockage right now and unable to urinate. He has a lot of puffiness in his face, so I would definitely be interested to get in contact with you after the show. I'm really interested in what you've been talking about. But
yeah, think about this. If you don't urinate, the water's got to go somewhere, so you're going to get puffy. And so if it comes on the face, where on the face tells us if it's puffiness in the cheek area, we're going to have potential for lung issues, pulmonary hypertension, puffiness underneath the eyes. It's a kidney deficiency disorder. If it's puffiness above the eyes, it's a gallbladder issue. So where the puffiness is based on our chart, our face map, will give us out of the person. They still, if you've got prostate cancer, you want to be under medical care. But there are things, medicine's very good, but they really stink at helping you get healthy. You want to do more than just take out the prostate.
yeah, exactly. He's ready to change and have some more dietary restrictions and stuff like that too after the surgery. So I'm trying to help him. But thank you for all your information. It was great.
Thank you for calling, Gina. Appreciate it. I'm going to go on to our next caller. And actually, this person is joining us via video stream. So let's get Rebecca on.
Great.
Hi, Rebecca.
I'm going to call to our next caller. And actually, this person is joining us via video stream.
Oh, okay. So, Rebecca, do you have audio?
I do. It's not very good, but I've got it.
Okay. Can you turn it down just a little bit because we're hearing our echo?
Audio.
Okay. Okay. And would you like a face reading, Rebecca?
We're hearing our echo.
Do you have headphones that you could plug in?
Okay. And would you like a face reading, Rebecca? Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read it. So if you'll take your glasses off just for a moment, if that's possible.
If you can remove your glasses, please.
Okay, so the eyebrows are significant because they're very sparse. So you have a thyroid issue. Your hair is very thin also, which is, thyroid governs that. You are a cross between a bucket face. So you like to learn, you like to put things in your bucket, but there's a little more length than the classic. So you have a little bit of a tree quality. So you like to spread your branches and protect, and you need to take care of yourself too, along with everybody else you're taking care of. So I'm concerned that there's some pretty significant thyroid weakness. Are you on thyroid medication by any chance?
So I'm concerned that there's some pretty significant thyroid weakness. Are you on thyroid medication by any chance? No, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think, here's the problem. medically, they'll run a very simple test called a thyroid stimulating hormone. It'll be normal. My guess, based on some of the things I'm seeing on your face, liver gallbladder things, that you're probably not converting T4 to T3 in your liver. And that's what's going to give you energy. It's going to give suppleness to your skin. It's going to give hair quality. So I think you would benefit from seeking a doctor that knows a little bit more thyroid, and because you definitely got a thyroid weakness, fatigue, weight gain, dry skin and hair. Also, even cognitive decline can be tied to thyroid. So you may not grab the thought as you'd like to. There's all these different things that can kind of show up when the thyroid's not doing its job. But you need to get your thyroid tested by somebody that knows what they're doing.
It's not doing its job.
Did you hear that okay, Rebecca?
Not all of it, but I'll just replay it later.
Okay. All right.
All
Well,
right.
great. Well, thank
Great.
you for calling in.
Thank you for calling.
We appreciate that. We have callers are waiting. I'm going to go to the calls now. One sec.
All right.
All right. We have callers from 910-910-922. You're on the line. Is this Lisa?
Hello?
Hi, Lisa. Is this you? 910?
Yes.
Hi. Welcome to the
Yes, it's
show.
Hi,
Rebecca
Lisa.
again.
Rebecca.
Let me turn the volume off. Yes,
Okay. I have Lisa Hopkins. Is this not right?
that's right. It comes up Lisa. It's Lisa Rebecca.
Gotcha. Okay. Hi, Rebecca. How are you doing? And do you have a question for Dr. Todd?
Doing great. Yeah, I was hoping he could do my face too. I don't know if he could see my profile picture or not.
Okay. Let me see if we can find it. Are you calling in from YouTube or Facebook?
Facebook.
All right. Let's see. Just put a comment in and then I can bring up the picture. If you can comment on the screen. Or if you want to join on video, you can do that as well. All right. So here we go. Here's
just
your
did.
picture. There you go. And let's see. Let me go to Dr. Todd's live. There you go. Dr. Todd, you see that okay?
Okay. Yep, I can.
Okay, perfect.
So, again, you're a combination of a number of different faces. You have mostly iron quality, so you're strong. As I say, give you a job, but you can be very, very stubborn. That can be the aspect that you have to pay attention to. You got a little bit of under your left eye. That is back to that unshed tears. So some male has probably hurt you in your life. More than it was healthy for you to do. You've got good spiritual strength. You got nice falling lines. So you found your purpose. You're living your purpose. Do have a pretty good crease. Any alcoholism, especially on your father's side?
Some on my mother's side.
Okay. There's probably on your father's side too, just based on the again, I'm again with the face, but there's some inherited liver weakness. So what you have to worry about there is, again, the emotion of the liver is anger. So you have to be a little careful to temper the anger tendency. You won't get angry often, but when you do, you'll explode quite violently based on where your eyebrows are and where you're underneath your eyes. So you have to just rein in the anger issue a little bit. I think it'd be healthy for you to do that. You're very healthy. I don't see a whole lot from a illness standpoint. Again, it's not the best picture to read from, but we'll do the best we can with what we have.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, if I get angry,
Okay.
I usually explode.
Yeah, you won't do it often, but when you do, it's a 20 megaton explosion.
I just was betrayed violently just a few days ago. It was pretty explosive. So yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the betrayal was a
awesome.
male? Yeah, great. Love it.
Well, thank you for calling, Rebecca. I'm glad that
Okay.
you enjoyed your reading.
All right. Thank you, John, so much. Thank you, Dr.
You
Todd.
got it.
Thanks.
You bet.
All
I-
right.
You bet.
We're running out of time, so I'm just trying to get through as many as we possibly can. If you are holding on the phone, please comment so that I can put your picture up. I know we have some people commenting already, so let me get to the phones. We have Karen King on the line. Karen, hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had commented before. You can comment again real quick. So you can see my picture?
I think I can find it, but go ahead and comment again. Yeah, it'll make it easier for me.
Okay. I did. Hopefully it'll go through. I'm on Facebook.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. I'm going to show
Which
right
is
now.
quite appropriate tonight. Facebook, get it?
Yeah. Right. Perfect.
Hi, Karen.
Exactly. All right. So here we go.
Hello.
Go ahead and shift to Dr.
Hi,
Todd's
Karen.
video with Karen.
Hi, Karen. So you are as classic
Hello.
of a fire face as I could use you in my book as a picture for a fire face.
Oh, well, you have my permission.
You're really sensitive.
Oh, very.
The blessing is you'll know other people's thoughts. But a plane crashes in Europe, tune up in the middle of the night, and feel something. So it'll affect your sleep. It'll have issues. Sleep issues can be a factor there. You very strong following lines. So you're a very spiritual lady, found your purpose. But sensitivity is the key, and you have to honor that and respect it, and realize that that's who you are. And I give you permission to be sensitive because that's what you are.
Yes, that's a very accurate.
Really? First
All
time
right.
ever
And next week, just to let everyone know, I'm going to try to get you in as quick as we can. Thank you very much for calling, Karen. Appreciate that. I hope that helped
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
All right.
you.
So let's bring in Marguerite. Marguerite, I think you're coming on video now.
Yes, can you see me?
Yes, excellent. So let me remove Karen's comment and you should be seen. There we go. Yes. So Dr. Todd, do you see Marguerite okay?
Hi there.
So Marguerite, just lower
ready to
your
go?
Facebook volume. There you go. Yeah.
You are you're an iron face. You're very strong, but you're under way too much stress. If you'll notice, everyone that's looking at this, her following. Yeah, you just went away. There you are. Your following lines are too long. My guess is relationship with a female, probably your mother, was a little stressful. Would be my guess. You have a lot of gallbladder energy that's kind of stuck in your system. So you've internalized a lot of anger. You also have some thyroid issues. That's when the outside and thicker to the inside, that's a sign of a hypothyroid condition. It's called Hertog sign. It also indicates a lack of sibling support in facial diagnosis. And again, stress is your big thing. You've just got adrenal issues. Your fatigue. Would be my guess. You've got some significant fatigue, and you've just been under too much stress. And you've got to recognize the stress, do some things to strengthen it. There's lots of things that can be done. Get to somebody that knows adrenal function because yours are exhausted.
Wow.
You're right on. Right on.
Wow.
Very smart man.
Cool. Oh, I'm right twice. That's great.
Well, we've got two more for you, Dr. Todd, and then we're going to wrap. Okay. Is that okay?
Okay. Sounds good. Love it.
All right. Thank you, Marguerite. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So let's get Nina on. There you go. Nina. Hi, Nina.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Nina.
Good to see
Hey,
you.
Kelly. Hey, Dr. S. Hey, John.
Hi there.
Hi, Dr. Todd.
Yeah. So, Nina, you're an earth face. You're very down to, you're a little too much earth energy. So earth energy about feeding everybody, earth to everybody around. So you're giving too much up, way too much stress from a male. If you'll notice, the crease that runs in the left eye runs from the inner canthus and crosses to the cheekbone. That is an adrenal insufficiency. Again, very strong spiritual strength, but you're under too much stress from a male. Your eyebrow is dropped on the right side, so that often indicates a brain injury, kind of for the brain. That concerns me a little bit. Again, I was kind of worried about that kind of thing. You've got a tipped uterus. Your uterus is prolapsed. That's that hook-shaped line on your chin.
I don't have one.
And
I had a total hysterectomy.
Yeah, that explains it. Obviously, it was so weak you couldn't hang on to it. So again, you need some adrenal support. You need some kidney support. You're very kidney deficient, so you're going to have a lot of joint pain, low back pain. A nighttime urination is real common in this situation. Fear is the emotion that kind of rules your life, so you have to pay attention to that. And there's just been an imbalance, and you need to support adrenals, and it has to do with again a male stress. Yeah, big difference between your right eye and your left eye, so there's an imbalance there. Your pupils look a little large. Again, this isn't the best, so your nervous attack. So your mouth can get dry, your heart rate will skip beats, your digestion kind of shuts down. And so, this is something that can be addressed. There's some health issues that I would like to see you attack kind of aggressively.
Well, right now I'm having I think that I'm having a lot of issues on the right or left side of my neck. I just had a shot put in my shoulder. But they think it's my neck. And so it's like it's affecting this whole side. It's even more swollen.
Yeah, it's your nervous system that's under attack, and it's just it's out of balance. Again, you're in a state of fight or flight, and it needs to be kind of some things to do to kind of support that. So some good nerve and adrenal support.
Okay. I'll definitely do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you,
Good
Nina.
to see you
Always good to
guys.
see you. Thanks for all your help. Appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah, love you guys. Always.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you.
All right, and our last one is going to be Susan. Susan is on the phone. Let me get Susan on the phone. Susan calling from, wow, I've got several callers holding. Let me bring Susan's picture up and we can go from there. All right, so let's see. Do you see Susan's face, Dr. Todd?
I do.
All right, and I'm going to try to get her on the line right now, so just one second. Okay. You see that okay, Dr. Todd? The picture?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Susan
Again,
is on
smiling
the line.
faces.
Hi.
Hi, Susan. So smiling face, a little harder to diagnose from. You see the world very broadly. Your eyes are very wide set. So please don't be an accountant because you'll hate your life. You need to travel lots. You're a little hard on yourself. Up when your eyebrows course inward like yours do, it indicates you're a little hard on yourself. So obviously you're very beautiful, and you need to just accept the fact that you're very, very beautiful. That's the biggest thing I see from your face. Again, very wide set eyes. You need to see the world. You see things very, very broadly. You actually probably have very empathic abilities. Chin is kind of pointed, which is a little bit of again, that's that fire energy. Hard to tell what kind of face you are because you're smiling, but it looks like a king, a sensitive king, so sensitive leader, but you're very, very sensitive. Again, I just sense that you have some real empathic abilities.
A good diagnostician. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you,
bet.
Susan.
Great. Thanks for calling in, Susan. Sorry we had to make it so quick. We're running out of time, unfortunately.
That's fine. Enjoy the show.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate
Bye-bye.
your patience. Thank you. All right, wonderful. So let's move on to a couple questions really quick, and then we're going to wrap. So we have Karen asking, do you know if Dr. Todd explains facial diagnosis issues included in this book?
Absolutely. My book is totally filled with all kinds of information. You can get the book on Amazon. Just type in dice. Why that's fantastic is the other thing. It's on our website too, so you can just get the book and just have at it. And my number was there too, so if you have some specific questions, I don't mind calls, but don't want a lot of them. I am retired, or at least trying.
And Dr. Todd, also they can go on your website, and there's a place on there where they can send a picture, and you do like a mini diagnosis, correct?
Right. There'll be two different diagnoses. One is if you just want a written diagnosis, there's a certain cost. But if I get on and go through and talk to you verbally, it's a little more expensive than that. But again, it's usually of great value. I mean, by the person that's blind, but most people will find it really helpful to everybody likes to know more about themselves. Who doesn't? I do.
Yeah.
And
All
it's
right.
fun to
Yes.
kind of pick up.
So I wanted to make sure, John, can you put his website on so people can have access to that? Because the people that didn't get a chance to get on a phone call can always go to Dr. Todd's website and have an opportunity to have your face read
Yeah.
as well.
Of course. Yeah, I'll put that up as well. It's been posted. Last caller, I believe, is Zio. Zio, do you have a question for us?
Yes. First of all, it was a blast just watching Dr. Todd talk about all different shapes of phases and how it relates to behavior, psychological behaviors, and physical illnesses and issues. It was just amazing. I just learned so much, and I appreciate it. Everything you said. I do have one question, and I wanted to ask you what thing can correlate to bone problems in the face.
Well, bone is governed by your kidney. So kidney governs bone and governs hearing. So most people that have a kidney deficiency will have a bone problem, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis for the female, but they'll also have it's rather fascinating how they correlate. Hearing loss is real common in people with a kidney deficiency. So if you want to help your bones, support your kidneys. Now the kidney gets rid of waste, so you always have to support that aspect. But the other function of the kidney is to reabsorb electrolytes, minerals. So most people with kidney problems have a mineral deficiency, and it's usually magnesium is the main mineral we find to support the kidney.
So would that affect the
Stay
teeth
away
as
from
well,
iced
Dr. Todd?
drinks.
Would teeth be affected as well? Okay, and how would that show up?
Teeth. That comes in a couple different areas. There's a number of things that govern the teeth. It's a lot of fire energy with the fire element has a lot to do with that. Also your earth element, which is your spleen, pancreas, stomach. So the teeth tie in a lot of different things, and each tooth represents an organ or system of the body. So if you have a certain tooth in trouble, if you go to a dentist that understands this, he can actually diagnose problems just by what tooth is having a problem. Absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
We come from one cell. This is not a difficult concept to go with. Everybody, we grow from one cell to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, and it just keeps going from there. So it's not that illogical that iridology would give us some information, face diagnosis, foot reflexology, hand reflexology. All these things have diagnostic value. Now, if you cross that 2/3 line, you need medical care. But when you're on that first 2/3, when medicine doesn't see anything wrong, this is where this stuff can really shine and give you some real good input as to what you can do to help yourself.
Yeah, Lynn was asking, what about the space between
What about
the two
space
front?
between the two front teeth?
Yeah.
That is in the embryological development. There's just a space, the gap that's there. It usually that one does tie to kidney function.
Oh, interesting.
That during oftentimes there's a lot of fear in the mother that will cause that. My wife knows that.
Got it. Okay. Wow. This is
Everything has some.
This has been, how
And I'm bringing it back to
fascinating.
the first slide so you guys can see his information that we went over
Yeah.
earlier. So there we go. So I'm
Thank
going to zoom
you.
in on that for you.
There we go.
Yes. And thank you so much for your call, Zio. Appreciate it very much. That was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Todd. I mean, this was just so wonderful. We so appreciate that you were on our show because we found you fascinating when Kelly and I went to the lecture, and it's just continues to be.
Gosh, I learned so much on this show alone.
And look at all these comments. Everyone's is saying just fascinating show, and they're just absolutely blown away by all
Can
of
you
it.
say a little bit about the that formula that you created, which is what shape reclaim?
Shape reclaim.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all about reducing inflammation, strengthening the immune system. It's a mild detox, and the wonderful side effect is you drop weight. It's a practitioner monitored program. All diets fail because the brain gets a message that it's starving. So you can go on Atkins diet, you lose a lot of weight, but he puts you in large ketosis, which is starvation. And as soon as you come off the Atkins diet, the weight comes back and usually 10 to 20% more. So there's a problem with diets because they're built on an incorrect principle. It's a brain problem. It's not a metabolic problem unless it's that can be thyroid issues, but it's a brain problem. So we get your brain to run better, and the messages, the communication in the brain enhances your body to the point where you have reduced inflammation. Your immune system gets strengthened. Your body detox more properly. And again, what a cool thing is that? And that was based on my wife getting in.
That's fantastic. Good for her. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Wow.
Well, thank you so much.
The sad thing here is the sad thing here is this had to end. This is no good. I don't like this. We need to do this a couple more hours. What do you think?
Well, we would love to have you back on. I mean, you'll please join us again, because this was so great. I know our fans loved it. It was a terrific show.
Yeah, we had video callers, we had callers, we had people putting pictures,
Yeah.
we had comments, we had everything going on in a slideshow.
Oh my God, John, thank you so much. I don't know how you did it, but thank you.
And we apologize for the tech issues, and then maybe next time you're on, we won't have any, and everything will go beautifully.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Todd. Appreciate all your time.
All good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Dr. Todd.
Pleasure.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you so much
Bye,
for
Good night.
tuning
Bless
in.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody. So make sure you check out our Facebook group. That is Both Sides Now TV community. Please join the Facebook group for more information and keep in touch that way. We'll take care.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo Dr. Shirley and Kelly White. Two perspectives, one world.